Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you guys are doing fantastic out there. I've got an interesting video for you today. As you can see, we have a Renogy 50-watt solar panel. And in today's video, what I'd like to do is set this solar panel up by putting a bracket on it so that it'll sit naturally. So I want something that'll fold out and hold this panel up so I can use it to charge my portable solar generators. So you can see I've got my MC4 to 8mm on here. So I went down to the hardware store and I picked up some of this aluminum angle iron. This is 1 inch by 1/16 of an inch thick, 72 inches long. Okay, so it's very nice, very thin, just your basic lightweight angle iron. I also picked up a little bit of hardware and I have a few tools here. The total price that this project cost me is about $16. I live in a small town and unfortunately my local hardware store, things are a little pricey sometimes, but 16 bucks is what I paid, so you could probably do this project much cheaper than I am. I've got a small Makita impact driver. These are the tools. I have a 1/4 inch drill bit. I have a 1/4 inch drive to Phillips, number 2 Phillips. And I have a little, this is a 1/4 inch drive and a socket. This is 7/16. This will fit in my impact driver so that I can tighten things down. I have a set of small vice grips to hold the back side of them. And right here on the table, I'll show you the hardware. So these are 1/4 by 20, whether these 1/2 inch or something like that. I've got 2 nylon washers with the 1/4 inch holes, 2 flat washers here, and 2 wing nuts. This is going to be to put the top of the brackets on to the panel, and then this bottom is the same nuts, or same bolts rather, 1/4 20. Got some flat washers, regular nuts, and some lock washers. So this is going to be to hold the bottom of the bracket together. But again, my total price that I paid, $16.90. I have a carpenter's pencil to mark the aluminum, ear protection, and I have a small fine tooth blade, finish blade, circular saw. I'm going to use this to cut the aluminum. It's going to be loud, that's why I got those hearing protectors. So let's get started. So let's see, we got 24 inches roughly. So I think I'm going to go about 16 inches on my legs. That way when I attach them, they'll be able to come out, and I can attach them low, you know, about somewhere right here where my finger is, and I'll be able to put them out, and 16 inches I think will be good because it'll give me enough, you know, where I can do multiple angles and still have it high enough where it'll hold this thing up. So I'm going to cut 2 lengths of this, 16 inches each. Let's go 16 and then we'll go 32. So right there. And it doesn't put that big of a mark, but it is noticeable. So this will give me my 2 legs. There's my mark right there where my thumb is. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. Let's go ahead and cut this. One, and the second mark is right there, and that actually cut pretty well. Hopefully you guys can see this. And it cuts that stuff really nice. That blade, it's not going to take a lot of cleaning. Got a grinder here with a sanding disc. So I'm just going to clean up these edges. It doesn't take much. Makes quick work of that. And I'm just getting rid of the rough edges and stuff like that. Nothing too significant. The next step on this project is to measure the outside of the panel. So I am dealing with 19 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger. I'm going to make it 19 7/8. It's better to be too large and cut again than to be too small. So I got this mark right here. I'm going to cut that right there. That's a scrap over here. And I'll take my sander and I'll clean up that edge again. Not too much to it. Pretty simple. Now what this piece is going to do is this is going to be the piece that goes side to side, and it's going to rest on these pieces and it's going to bolt together. But as you can see, I can't just put a bolt in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off of the edge here one side so that this will bolt on like this. Okay, so it'll make more sense here in a second. So this is 1 inch stock, right? 1 inch. So what I'm going to do on this long one is I'm going to just go about 1.5 inches on each side just to make sure I got plenty of room. 1.5 inches. We'll come to the other side. We'll do another 1.5 inches. And this is just to make sure that I got plenty of room. And it's going to look like this. 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and then I'm only going to cut this section right here out. This section here is still going to remain. So this section comes out and this stays. So let's go ahead and start right here. And this piece is going to do the same exact thing. I'm only going to go in halfway. So I'm starting here. Hopefully you're seeing this. I'm just going to go until I stop, until it touches. Not too much. See how I stopped on the inside there? Now I'll come this way and I'll cut this piece off, but it's probably easier if I lay this down on something solid. So I might be a bit off camera, but I need to do it this way. So there's what we have. So like I said, we're going to have these vertical pieces coming down, and this is where it's going to tie together, something like this. So now I got to do the same thing with this piece. So I'm going to start with the bottom cut here, and I'm going about 1/16 of an inch in. And lastly, this is going to be a little different because I have to do kind of a left-handed cut. That's all I need right there. See, it's still connected. I'm going to just break that off. And then from here, we're going to take our trusty grinder. We're going to knock down this edge right here and just clean it all up. That looks pretty good. Let's do the other side. Same thing here. Clean it up. Clean it all up. And that looks like that's all the cutting that I'm going to have to do. So it's going to sit like this, something like this. That's what it's going to look like. And these are going to be the legs that are going to fold out. It'll all make more sense here very soon. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are probably following me, and you're probably right with me and you understand what I'm doing. We're going to go to the panel and we're going to put our legs here, and we want to put them down to where they're almost flush with the ground of where it's going to come in contact. And we're going to drill a hole through all of this material. I'm going to raise it just a hair. Okay, we're almost through. I'm going to go ahead and drill this hole here. Okay. Okay, we're almost there. I was just looking because this is like hollow aluminum. It's kind of interesting. There's that. Now we'll finish with this piece here. We got to finish this hole. Let's just start from the inside and go outward. Okay, didn't take much. So now we have this one side. Now since this hole is going to be a pivot point for the leg to come out, I have to take some of this material off to compensate for this to move. So I'm going to go straight across with my saw right here. I'll make you a line here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to go straight across right there, and I'm going to cut that material out. So at this point, this still stops the movement that I need. So I'm going to cut an angle at 45 degrees right here, so that it'll allow this to climb up. It'll allow it to go up to whatever angle I want. So we'll take our little speed square. We'll come right below, right at the bottom, right there, and that's where we'll pick up that line. Something like that. Okay. And clean it up. And that looks pretty good. Let's test it. Let's imagine the bolt being there. That's going to let me go. I think that'll let me do just about whatever I want. And now we're going to test it and see if it's going to work for us. Stick the bolt through the hole, put the leg on, grab our wing nut, catch those threads. Okay, tighten that, pull the nut setter off, and wow, look at that. Now we can get all kinds of angles. I like that. That's nice. We can do quite a bit of angles. So we'll do the same thing with this other one. Okay, let's take the second leg and let's set it right here, and we'll get an idea of where that hole is going to be. So we'll go right there. We'll take our drill and we'll drill through. Just get our hole started. Finish drilling here. There we go. So now we'll do the same thing with the second leg. We'll take our nut setter, we'll put our bolt through. There we go. Let's get the leg right there, wing nut. There we go. Starting to take shape. It's looking pretty good, looking mighty good. Now we have legs that are going to fold out. 1, 2. It'll hold that thing together. Now we need to do this piece, which is going to go down somewhere down here by the bottom, maybe an inch up from the bottom or something. And what this will do is this will hold everything together so that these legs, they don't get flopping around at the bottom. So we want this to come into contact, something like this. It doesn't have to be nothing too crazy. So we'll mark right there. Right there. That looks good to me. Now we'll drill through here. Be careful when you drill down that you don't puncture through and go through the solar panel. So be careful. Okay, so we're there. In fact, I'm going to set a little piece of aluminum here for protection so that I don't even get into the solar panel. There we go. So we'll just put that right there. 1, 2. We're going to put a flat washer, lock washer, and just a standard nut. We'll tighten all this here in a bit as soon as we get this other side done. I'm really enjoying this project. It's a lot of fun. It's always fun coming out and working with material. We'll set this piece right underneath there so I don't drill through. Something like that looks wonderful. Okay, yeah. Okay, now that we have it marked, we can put something in the way to raise it up so we don't get into that bottom channel. There we go. From here, very simple. Run the bolt through. Catch that other piece. Put a flat washer, a lock washer, and the 7/16 nut. Now this will come out as one piece. That looks pretty darn nice. So we'll take our impact driver, we'll put our 7/16 here. We'll just tighten these bad boys up. There we go. That looks mighty nice. I like this. It's turned out really nice. So now I can set that up for whatever kind of angles I want. That looks fantastic. I did not use these second flat washers or these nylon washers. If I would have had longer bolts, like 1 inch, 1.25 inches, I would have used these. But my bolts were short, so I didn't use these. No biggie. That's what it looks like, fully installed and sitting out in the sun. Those legs are very easy to deploy, and it wasn't that hard to make them. Now, for those of you that might be curious, this is an MC4 to 8mm cable. So I've got my Oops 1200 right here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what kind of input we're getting. Right now we're getting about 42 watts of input. That is absolutely fantastic. A minute ago I was getting 45 watts. Wow, we're getting 45 watts of input. These legs that I built for this Renogy 50 watt panel they're working really well. Now this video, hopefully you got some good useful information out of it. Now this technique is something that you can use on any solar panel for that matter. The measurements might be a little bit different, but the build design and stuff like that is pretty much the same. So with all that being said, folks, again, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video, share this video, and every Wednesday I will be releasing new content. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.